Sarah was a woman everyone in town admired. She wasn't just a hairstylist, she was a miracle worker. With her hands, her salon was the biggest, the most beautiful, the most visited. Women traveled from faraway cities just to sit in her chair. She could transform damaged hair into silk, weak strands into shining glory. She knew how to make people walk out feeling like queens, but what nobody knew was that the same woman who cared so deeply about everyone else's hair had a wound inside her heart that she never spoke about. Sarah had 3 daughters, triplets, her pride, her joy, her everything, but they were born different. None of them had a single strand of hair on their heads, not as babies, not as toddlers, not even as they grew into little girls. At first, Sarah wasn't worried. She told herself maybe their hair will come later. Some children take time, it's nothing. She smiled whenever her clients teased her gently. Mama Sarah, your girls are beautiful, but when will they have hair? She would laugh it off, masking the sting in her heart. Don't worry, it will come. I'm the queen of hair, remember? My daughters can never lack. But inside, she was afraid to. Years passed. Hair girls grew older, but still no hair, no fuzz, no strand, nothing. Sarah began to avoid questions. She never asked doctors. She never went for tests. Deep down, she was terrified of the answers she might receive, so she did what she knew best. She worked harder in her salon, trying to drown her pain in other people's beauty. But people noticed, and when people notice, people talk. At first, it was whispers, quiet side glances in the market, murmurs behind her back. Then it became louder. They said, how can Sarah, the great hairdresser, the woman who gives others glory, have 3 daughters with no hair at all? Some said it was a curse. Others said she was paying the price for her success. But the most painful rumor, they said Sarah was using her daughter's hair for rituals, that every braid she sold, every wig she installed, every product she used was powered by the sacrifice of her own children's hair. The rumors spread like wildfire. Clients who once filled her salon started avoiding her. Some mothers even pulled their daughters away, whispering, don't let Sarah touch your hair, who knows what she'll take. Sarah pretended she was strong, she stood tall, she smiled, but at night when the world was quiet, she would cry silently on her pillow. Hair, daughters, innocent little souls, would sometimes hear her sobbing, Mama, why are you crying? And Sarah would force a smile, wiping her tears, saying, I'm fine, my loves, I'm just tired. But she wasn't fine, she was breaking. One day while she was working on a client's hair, the woman looked her in the eyes and asked with a mocking tone, Sarah, tell us the truth. What did you do with your daughter's hair? The whole salon went silent. Sarah froze, her hands trembled. She wanted to scream, she wanted to explain, she wanted to defend herself, but what could she say? She didn't even know why her daughters had no hair. She had never asked, she had never faced it. Tears filled her eyes, but she forced herself to continue working. The woman left, whispering something Sarah would never forget. A woman who makes others beautiful but hides shame in her own house. That night, Sarah sat in front of a mirror. She looked at her reflection, the queen of hair, the miracle work, the woman everyone admired, but for the first time, she hated the woman staring back at her. What kind of mother am I? She whispered. I give the world beauty, but my daughters, my own blood, they suffer, and I don't even know why. Her daughters, overhearing her, ran to her side. They touched her face, wiping her tears with their little hands. Mama, don't cry. We love you. We don't care if we don't have hair. You are the best mother. But Sarah only wept harder. The weight of people's judgment, the pain of her unanswered questions, the guilt of ignoring the truth, it was too much. She finally decided she would find out the truth even if it broke her, even if it confirmed the rumors, even if it shattered everything she believed. She owed it to her daughters. She owed it to herself. The next morning, Sarah gathered her girls, dressed them in their prettiest clothes, and held their hands tightly. For the first time in her life, she walked not to her salon, not to the market, but to the hospital. And as she walked through the streets, people whispered, pointed, and mocked. Some even laughed. But Sarah didn't care anymore. She was ready to face the truth, because sometimes the most painful answers are better than living with endless questions. And what Sarah discovered that day was something no one in her town could have ever imagined. Sarah walked into the hospital with her 3 daughters, their little hands clinging tightly to hers. The whispers of the townspeople still rang in her ears, but she pushed them aside. And this wasn't about them anymore. This was about her girls. For years, she had hidden from the truth. For years, she told herself maybe tomorrow their hair will come. But tomorrow never came. Now, she was ready. They sat in the waiting room, the white walls pressing down on her like judgment. Her daughters laughed and played with each other, innocent plaque, unaware of the storm inside their mother's heart. Finally, the doctor called her name. Sarah walked in slowly, her palms sweaty, her throat dry. She explained everything: the triplets, their baldness since birth, the rumors, her fears. She poured her heart out, tears slipping down her face. The doctor listened carefully, then ordered some tests, hours that felt like days. When the doctor finally returned, Sarah's heart raced. She searched his face, desperate for hope. But what he said shattered her. "Madam Sarah," he began gently, "your daughters are not cursed. Their hair is not missing because of any ritual. They were born with a rare condition. It is genetic. It means their hair will never grow. They are healthy. They will live long and full lives, but they will never have hair." Sarah froze. The words cut through her like a knife. Never have hair. She felt her knees weaken. She clutched her chest, gasping for breath. For years, she thought maybe time would heal it. Maybe prayer, maybe patience, but now she had her answer. Final. Unchangeable. Her daughters would grow up without hair. The triplets of the famous hairdresser would forever be bald. Tears poured down her cheeks uncontrollably. She asked the doctor, her voice trembling, "Why me? Why them? I help women with all kinds of hair. I fix broken hair. I give confidence. Why couldn't God give my own children just one strand?" The doctor placed a hand on her shoulder. "Sometimes life tests us in ways we don't understand, but your daughters are not a curse. They are blessings. What matters is how you love them." But Sarah could barely hear him. Her mind was drowning in shame, pain, and self-pity. That night, she sat alone in her salon. The chairs were empty, the mirrors reflecting her tear-stained face. She remembered the cruel words of her clients, the whispers in the market, the laughter behind her back. She is using her daughter's hair for rituals. A mother who hides shame in her house. She broke down, weeping loudly. For once, she didn't care who heard her. Her daughters found her there, sitting on the floor, her head buried in her hands. They wrapped their little arms around her. "Mama," one of them whispered, "don't cry, we are not sad. We are happy because we have you." Another added softly, "Mama, hair doesn't make us beautiful, your love does." Sarah lifted her face slowly. Their innocent eyes looked at her with nothing but love, pure, unconditional love. And in that moment, something shifted inside her. She realized the real battle was never about her daughter's hair. The battle was about her heart, her shame, her fear, her pride. The next morning, Sarah made a decision that shook the entire town. She dressed her daughters in beautiful gowns, polished their shoes, and walked with them proudly through the market square. People stopped and stared as usual. The whispers began again. But this time, Sarah didn't lower her head. She stood tall. When she reached the center of the market, she raised her voice so everyone could hear. "Yes, my daughters have no hair. And no, I have not used their hair for rituals. They were born this way. They are healthy, they are strong, and they are mine. Hair or no hair, they are my pride, my joy, my blessings." The market fell silent. For the first time, the rumors had no power. Sarah had spoken her truth. Some people sneered, some shook their heads, but many saw her strength, her courage, her love, and slowly, instead of whispers of mockery, People began whispering words of admiration. Sarah walked away, holding her daughter's hands tightly. The weight in her heart was gone. She finally understood her daughters didn't need hair to be beautiful, they only needed her love. And she didn't need the world's approval to be a good mother. She had faced her greatest fear, and though life hadn't given her what she expected, it had given her something greater: strength, resilience, and all of that no rumor could ever destroy. And from that day on, Sarah didn't just run a salon, she became a voice for mothers. She taught women to embrace their children, their flaws, their uniqueness. She reminded everyone that beauty is not just what grows on the head, but what lives in the heart. Her daughters grew up strong, confident, and bold. People no longer pitied them. They admired them because they carried the courage of their mother wherever they went. And Sarah, she was no longer just a hairdresser. She was a mother who turned pain into power. If you are Sarah, will you do the same? What is in your mind now? Share it with me on the comment section. If you like this story, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with families, friends, or groups. Welcome to Haria AI Braids Inspiration and Life Stories. Thank you for listening. Bye.